Hello and welcome to the Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Here's what's coming up. Chief Executive of Cocoa Board announces the introduction of electronic weighing scales for cocoa trading. There is more coming up. Of course, the introduction ends years of cocoa farmers getting shortchanged by dubious LBCs.
From 1st of October 2021, which marks the beginning of the new crop season 2021-2022, Ghana is going to use the electronic weighing scale.
Also, Ghana will not be able to compete with the likes of Kenya, South Africa, and even Ethiopia in the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. CATS International Ghana will join us to explain details of their recently launched report. And later, the Bank of Ghana assures the public of seamless financial transactions via ECD as piloting of the digital currency begins next month.
There's been a lot of efforts trying to digitize the economy and the financial sector. And this is one such step in that direction. We are going first with a pilot to test how it would work. So it's been designed, it's in place, but to test how it would work and how best we can ensure that it works for everyone.
You're welcome to the program. We're taking a short break for details of stories coming shortly. Do stay. And we start with the cocoa sector as the Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahen-Adu, has announced the introduction of electronic scales to end years of cocoa farmers getting shortchanged by some dubious license buying companies. Speaking at the press conference, Joseph Boahen-Adu explained that the introduction will deepen efforts by Cocoa Board to better the lot of farmers and ensure fair trade.
From 1st of October 2021, which marks the beginning of the new crop season 2021-2022, Ghana is going to use the electronic weighing scale. That is what is going to be used throughout the whole country. And as a regulator, we want to announce this, to the notice of everybody, the notice of our farmers, and then also to the notice of all local marketing companies, that the LBCs, for everybody to take note that effective from 1st of October 2021, if you go to weigh your cocoa and it's not Cocoa Board's electronic scale, it means that scale is unauthorized. The authorized accredited scale is what you find. I think they've almost set it up. We are going to demonstrate it for you to see. So that's a scale that we are going to use across the country. And this is going to give some assurance, to the farmers, and also free our land buying companies of all the headache of, you've adjusted your scale and that kind of thing. This scale is going to solve all that problem. It's a scale that is sealed. It's sealed. So once you tamper with it, it means you destroy it, and you have to go for a new one. And we believe that everybody is going to support this cause to improve the industry. We are looking forward to having a very successful year that's coming year. We want our farmers to take note from today that already the weather pattern tells us that we are going to have some rain, little rain in September, and then slightly in October. We want our farmers to take advantage of these rains. We are going to introduce flower-inducing fertilizers, foliar. We want them to apply them so that wherever the flowers are not showing, we want you to use the foliar flower inducer to boost flowering and take advantage of the rains. There's climate change. we all know there's climate change. In May, there was no rain, and we are now experiencing the rain small. It will come up to October and then have a break. But if we are lucky, we may have rains in December, January, as it happened this year. So when you go back, tell your societies and then your group farmers that we must all take advantage of the coming rains. According to the weather forecast, we are going to have some rains from now up to early.
And that is the Chief Executive of Cocoa Board there. We shall peruse the impact of this on cocoa trading in our subsequent bulletins. But let's now talk the Continental Free Trade Agreement, because Ghana will not be able to compete with the likes of Kenya, South Africa and Ethiopia in the Continental Free Trade Agreement. This is contained in a research paper by CATS International Ghana, which has called for a national implementation strategy and action plan that provides systematic, on-CAT inclusive and processes towards measures to ensure after implementation is run smoothly. The research lists 7 challenges impeding the capacity by Ghanaian businesses to compete on the Continental Free Trade. And of course, we shall show you 7 of these challenges. The first being the limited knowledge about Continental Free Trade Agreement area. The second being the high cost of production. Also the poor packaging and finishing of goods and services. The high cost of credit. Limited motivation, to export, particularly for small, medium enterprises. Inadequate skilled labor, bottlenecks in administrative and regulatory procedures. These, among others, are the stark challenges impeding Ghana and the business community at that from competing on the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. Apio Dumako is with CATS International, and he joins us via Zoom for an extension of what we're making out of this report. We're grateful that you joined us. What other findings does this research expose?
Okay, so the research was conducted before trading started under the AFCFTA, and we spoke to a lot of businesses from the SMEs and also the multinationals.
All right.
And we found that the SMEs in Ghana are not well positioned to be able to trade and compete with the likes of companies that are from countries in South Africa or Kenya, Cote d'Ivoire, and even Morocco and Senegal. And largely because of some framework conditions that we have in this country, especially with regards to the high cost of borrowing and lack of some certain skills for manufacturing sector to be able to produce. For we spoke to one pharmaceutical firm, and they said that when their machine breaks down, they have to import experts from other countries to come and fix them. Though we live in Ghana, we say that jobs are not here, but I tell you that there are lots of jobs that cannot be filled today because we don't have skill set. People don't have the skill set for those jobs. And these are some of the findings that we found in the study.
So, of course, you stated rightly that this was done before trading began on the 1st of January, but what recommendations have been proposed under this research paper?
And so I think we recommended that the national implementation strategy needs to be worked out, and thankfully government has taken notice of it, and we have the national strategy, the national country office for implementing the AFCFTA. We've seen some of the work, but I think that most of the effort should be geared towards supporting the SMEs, because the SME constitute about 80% of the economy. And the study said that only 13% of SMEs are aware of AFCFTA. And so focus should be on SMEs, and because SMEs are largely Ghanaian owned, and whenever they make profits, the profit stays in the country, unlike the multinationals. And so I think every strategy that we have, of course, we shouldn't leave the multinationals out, but I think that we also need to grow homegrown strategy. Let's help the Ghanaian private sector, the SMEs, to take full advantage in terms of the support the support. In fact, credit is an issue because firms in Ghana are still borrowing between 25 to 30%. And when firms in South Africa and Kenya and let's say Tunisia are borrowing at 5%, then it means that Ghanaian SMEs may find it difficult to compete because with this AFCFTA, businesses, goods are coming in duty-free and quota-free into Ghana. And if your cost of production is high, it makes your final product expensive. And when consumer goes into the market, the consumer is not a nationalistic purchaser. Consumer is looking at what his money can buy and not to say that, oh, this product is from Ghana and it is 30 cities and one from South Africa is, let's say, 20 cities. And then the consumer will look at the Ghana one, South Africa down, and then buy the Ghana one. No, the consumer will want where he can maximize utilities.
Great,
so
but of course we appreciate this factor of the cost of lending. Of course, the AGR has also raised so much concerns regarding the cost of lending, despite the fact that we've seen, you know, a regular decrease in the policy rate. It's just not being reflected across the banks. From the perspective of Cards International, how do we put this, you know, matter to rest once and for all? What policy directive must be effected to ensure that we witness a clear translation of the reduction in policy rate in the cost of lending?
I think a lot of work has been done. I remember in 2016, for example, the then Minister of Trade, Honorable Dr. Sue Gabriel, started a project, War on High Inflation. And I think the banks were saying that the risks in lending in Ghana is too high. And for that reason, they need to put a premium on it so that they can control. But gradually now, because of information, Ghana Card, a lot of information are available for the banks about borrowers. And so I think most of these risks that the banks have been talking about are unfounded now. Maybe in the past, those risks were real, but today I think that the risks that they talk about, most of them are not available now. And so the banks need to do more about it. Because if a firm in Kenya or South Africa is lending between 4 to 7%, and you are still lending at 25, 30%, I think that you need to sit up and, of course, government action can also, drive the cost of borrowing. And when government is also, maybe sometimes too, it's not even the issue of borrowing. The rate. Sometimes we go to the bank. The bank sees a lot of risks in lending to you. But when they lend to government, that is also easy for them. It's risk-free for them. And the cost of, they will not have to go to court in case you default. When government default, because government is sovereign and government is credible. But if government stop borrowing from the local banks, I think that there will be enough money available for the banks to lend to the private sector.
All right, but beyond this, of course, if you could pull up some of the challenges that you highlighted in your report, the matter regarding, the lack of incentive for these guys to export, within our fray. If you could pull up that particular graphic for our viewers to see, to appreciate what exactly we're trying to, talk about. The very, issue regarding the limited motivation to export, particularly for SMEs. What exactly is there when it comes to motivation for SMEs to export within the African market?
So for most SMEs, they feel that the Ghanaian market is okay for them. So they don't see any incentives for them to go to an unknown territory.
When you say incentives, what exactly do we mean by incentives?
So they think that they are doing well in the Ghanaian market. So why should they export to Nigeria or South Africa or Kenya or whatever? So there's no incentives for them because they are satisfied with what? And most of these businesses are largely family-owned and not the normal formal sectors where you think that they have a lot of information about research and development and product information about the other markets. So that is one. And also to go into exporting into other markets, you need to have a lot of resources. You even need to have credit, because when you are sending goods to a third country, sometimes you may have to give the goods to them on credit, 60 days credit.
All right.
And if you don't have the money to give that product on credit, you won't be able to supply.
Great.
And so they don't want to worry themselves that much. They feel that they are making decent profits from the Ghanaian sales, and so that should be enough for them.
We're so grateful that you joined us for your explanation to this report that we're just getting from CAT International regarding Ghana's competitiveness ahead of the continental free trade, which is, of course, already operational since January 1. Away from that, President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Yaw Odujemfi, has charged the Volta River Authority to deepen ties to explore how best cost of power can be reduced. Providing 53% of industrial energy demand, Dr. Odujemfi expressed that well-priced power regime will go a long way to attract investors into the industrial sector.
As I speak to you this morning, as president of AGI, I spend over 100,000 cedis, Ghana cedis, a month on electricity bill. How do you make paracetamol and let it be cheaper? So the only way we can sell paracetamol cheaper, or any product we are making, is when we have power that we are buying cheaper, that will reduce the cost, the inputs that we are putting into it. Because the healthcare of everybody depends on the medicines we are making. So also all the 23 sectors of AGI. And therefore we will continue this collaboration with the Ministry of Energy, with VRA, NPG, and see how best this #1 problem can be eroded so that the cost of electricity will come down and will reflect in our production costs. We are assured, as we heard, that their mandate is to deliver efficient, cost-effective or competitive prices for electricity.
Meanwhile, Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor B.J.B. Nyako, has hinted at the establishment of Ghana's first nuclear plant. When completed, he's confident of cheaper cost of power for local industries.
Ghana Association of Industries will benefit a lot from the nuclear power program. And that's why we are urging the industries that are here present to buy into the nuclear power program, so that when we start, we are not found wanting, and everything will be well established in Ghana. And if you are able even to do about 50%, it's fine. For example, the cement, the iron rods, and all those things they're going to use for the concrete thick ones, we are not going to import them. And these are all industries in the country. And if you're able to do that, then we hit above 50% of the amount that we are going to use to build the nuclear power plant.
And of course, they both made their submissions at the Ghana Industrial Summit, which ends officially today. You're still watching The Marketplace. The Bank of Ghana is assuring the public of seamless financial transaction, including payments, transfer, and depositing via the e-city, as the piloting of the digital currency begins in September. Kwame Opon is the head of fintech and innovation at the Bank of Ghana.
There's been a lot of efforts trying to digitize the economy and the financial sector. And this is one such step in that direction, particularly because for the ordinary person, this actually brings a certain level of security and safety, as well as convenience. So today you use cash for certain transactions, and for CBDC, because it's just like cash, you can have it in your bank account, and you could also have it on you to be able to spend outside of a bank account. So you could have it in a bank account or a mobile money wallet and spend it like the way you spend cash today. So from an access standpoint, it's going to be openly accessible by everyone, irrespective of where you are in the country. And you can use it for the things that you use cash for today, for making payments, for sending money to people, putting it in your mobile money wallet, putting it in your bank account, and anything else that today you can use cash for, except in a more efficient and a safer manner.
Bring us up to speed how generally the e-city would operate like.
We are going first with a pilot to test how it would work. So it's been designed, it's in place, but to test how it would work and how best we can ensure that it works for everyone, not just those who are digitally savvy, those on smartphones and the rest. So people with yams, people who have no
Market
access,
women.
the market women, people living in rural areas, the urban poor, everyone can access and use a central bank digital currency, the ECD, without any hassle. And that's a process that we've started off with a pilot, and we'll continue to work our way, and we will engage the public and let them know what the next steps are at every juncture.
And we'll see how that pilot goes in September. You're still watching The Marketplace. You're taking a short break. We'll be right back. Just stay. Yeah, welcome back. The National Insurance Commission is making moves for an additional pension scheme that will add to the streams of income of retired Ghanaian workers. It is expected to soon roll out a multi-stakeholder forum involving the National Pensions Regulatory Authority and the commercial banks to educate Ghanaian workers about the need to sign on an annuity, a product similar to that of pension. The Deputy Commissioner, Michael Kofi Andor, was speaking at a retirement salary stakeholder forum.
For a lot of people who are retiring under the new pension system, they don't know any anymore called annuity, okay, and the kind of benefits it has. And that is the biggest challenge that we have to solve. So we need to embark on effective education to let all workers know what annuities are, the types of annuities, what an annuity can do for you, what is the advantage in using your lump sum to buy annuity as opposed to carrying it in Ghana, must go back home and go and have a party. So that's a big one.
Okay.
What the Commission has done is to create a multi-stakeholder forum that is formulating an education plan on the annuities. We have reps from NPRA, from the banks and from the insurance companies and from other stakeholders, and we are putting it together. It's going to require quite some resources, but we are working on that as well. I know it has been late in coming, but it's better late than never. We'll soon roll it out and we'll get Ghanaians to get to learn about annuity.
As COVID-19 rages on, there is increased demand for data to connect to the internet, which has become one of the means to stay close to family, school, work remotely, among other activities. However, due to the low penetration of internet in the country, some communities are being left out. To address this challenge, Vodafone Ghana has introduced Smart Surf, which allows up to 32 devices to be connected at home and in the office. Speaking to the media after the launch at Ashaman, the head of Fixed Business, George Aban, says the service is currently available in Accra, Tema and Takoradi. There is more in this report.
Vodafone Smart Surf is a wireless broadband service geared towards increasing internet access. The company has been on this journey as the pioneer of fiber broadband, connecting over 140,000 homes across the country. The latest addition aims to push access a step further. With up to 32 devices connecting to the product at a go, the company assures of consistent speed. The service is currently available in Accra, Tema and Takoradi. George Aban is the head of Fixed Business at Vodafone Ghana.
So one of the things that we've done is to make sure that in terms of data that you are getting, the data packages are the same as your fiber broadband data packages. So if you already have fiber broadband, you do not need to go on to this service. This is mainly to make provision for the people that do not have access to the fiber broadband service across the country at the moment, just to make sure that everyone gets connected to the internet. At Vodafone, we are concerned about empowering a whole household or a whole office to stay connected to the internet. So our fiber broadband, but our fixed broadband and smart services are designed to create one router that allows everybody in the household, everybody in the office to get connected, and that's what we are doing.
Meanwhile, George Aban is assuring users of secured platform and more innovation from Vodafone.
You can basically buy a bundle from as low as 20 cedis all the way up to 200 cedis. For 20 cedis, you get as much as 5 gigs. So you can imagine, if you compare this to any mobile data service you have today, this is the best you can find on the market. I think we are the house of innovation. As you think about it in terms of a technology communication company, Vodafone is spearheading innovation. You can trust that we'll continue to launch services that provides access to every Ghanaian. That is what we are our mission, and that is what we are set out to do. And you continue to see Vodafone do that on an ongoing basis. When it comes to security, Vodafone is probably one of the best in terms of the telco space in Ghana, right? I don't want to mention any things in particular.
But of course, as I was telling you, we're just a few days away from the Executive Insight Conference on Business Value on Cybersecurity this Friday. That's Friday, the 21st of August at the Labadi Beach Hotel at 9 a.m. This event is coming to you from the kind courtesy of Innovari with support from Joy Business, which will help bring critical understanding to business leaders on cybersecurity value of cybersecurity across board. Remember that your cybersecurity tip as we're talking this afternoon is to learn about phishing scams and be very suspicious of emails, phone calls, and flyers that do not come from reliable sources. That's how hackers get into your system. But that's how we end Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Get more news on myjoyonline.com, where all the trending business stories are making the headlines. Once again, many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.